Hello, once again, everyone. I'm your host, Ray Shasho. Welcome to another edition of Interviewing the Legends, brought to you by the Rockstar Chronicles Series 1, my book featuring over 45 intimate conversations with the greatest music legends the world will ever know. And it features Roger Fisher. Available now at bookbaby.com and amazon.com. Roger Fisher was founding guitarist of the rock group Heart, globally known through the sales of more than 30 million albums. Roger has played in almost every major city in North America. He has also toured Europe, Japan, Australia, Uzbekistan, I don't even know where that is, and Russia, and performed at massive events at the Czech Republic, Japan, Canada, the US, for many as 300,000 people at a single rock show, if you remember California Jam 2. He has appeared on a multitude of television shows and television broadcasts for more than 60 million people in Europe. Songs featuring Roger's songwriting and iconic guitar riffs have been used in numerous TV commercials, TV shows, video games, and in many movies. A diverse variety of other artists have covered his material. Raj says, "I'm not an atheist, nor do I conform to any religion. I belong to no political party. I believe in breathing." Man, that's a great saying. I'm same way. His timeless anthem guitar intro to Barracuda, it's frequently used in major sports broadcasts, political movements, etc. Tony Robbins refers to Barracuda as part of the turning point in his life. The opening riff of Barracuda was voted by over 500,000 people via the magazine Ultimate Classic Rock for best guitar riff of all time. The original lineup of Heart was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2013. And let me tell you, I shed a tear when I saw them all back together again. Raj continues to release new material with his brother, Mike, AKA Mr. Magic Man. Please welcome Hall of Fame guitarist and songwriter with Heart, Roger Fisher, co-founder of Heart, the Magic Man himself, Michael Fisher, to Interviewing the Legends. Hello, guys.
Good morning.
Morning.
I was asking Mike earlier how far you guys lived from each other. He said about an hour or so.
He always exaggerates everything. It's only about 55 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's a big difference. How were you guys growing up? I mean, did you guys get along? Did you fight?
There's a good story there. Take it, Mike.
We had spectacular fights. I don't know. God, there's one fight where Roger went and got my dad's German Luger from World War II, came out with a loaded gun, pointed it at me, and pulled the trigger. And I mean, he was like 2 feet away, and you see your life flash in front of your face when that happens. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but it's really kind of about primal. And, that was, fantastic learning experience. And so by the time we were 13 or 14 or 15 years old, we reached the point where we realized it's like the end of the world, these fights, and we had to grow up. And we made a truce, a peace treaty, and we've been just best friends ever since.
What was the fight about? Do you remember?
Everything. I mean, whatever
Anything
you could imagine. You could fight for no reason. Just fight, constantly.
So where did the bullet end up? I mean, when he shot the gun.
Oh, he had the safety on.
Oh, okay. All right.
I didn't know that. I just heard it go click. I just heard.
Oh, man.
When things reach a certain level, you have to make a point, which is what I wish the world would do with Putin.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Boy, this conversation started out quick on I knew eventually we were going to get there, but I didn't think it was going to be that fast.
We got there quick, we got there quick as kids.
I know.
So I was just telling Ray that our YouTube channel is Fisher Brothers and the Human Tribe.
Right.
And we put a video up there day before yesterday that is a statement regarding the Ukraine, regarding homelessness, regarding the world we're giving to our children. And so, yeah, Fisher Brothers and the Human Tribe, go to our YouTube channel. There's a lot of really great videos on there.
I'm looking right now on my notes from Heart of Blues. And I want to see if it was the same. Yeah, was it how much, how many, how long? See,
Yeah.
I'm good, right? I'm good.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's a great tune, man. It's kind of gospel in a way. You know, it fits the
absolutely
events.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
And talk about gospel. Mike and I were in Mississippi last year at Delta State University recording studio. And we recorded a gospel group. And it was just a fantastic thing. It was so strange because months in advance, we had lined up our gospel group. And a few weeks before, just confirmed, yeah, no problem. Well, a couple days before, oh, they can't do it. Okay, don't worry. There's lots of gospel groups. We'll get another one. They got another one, and then they couldn't do it. So we get down there, and we had no gospel group. So the morning of the session, they're still looking for a gospel group. Well, finally, somebody said, Raj, go in the lobby and meet the gospel group. So I go in there. Well, there's these nice looking people. And I'm just thinking to myself, how is this going to go? So we get in there and start working on the songs. And I'm trying to kind of direct things. And pretty soon I see that nothing that I'm going to say or do is going to work. And I tell them, okay, you guys, go ahead and just do what you would do to this song. And they had all the lyrics and everything. And my God, it just started to come into place. And there was the magic. And then we found out these guys have never sung into a microphone before.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Yeah. But man, what we captured was just wonderful.
Man, you know, a lot of legendary rock artists started out singing in church, you know. That's where they all started. And
one of my favorite all-time albums is the $1 Million Quartet.
Right.
Where they're singing all those gospel songs. They were so into it. They just totally had the flavor and everything, you know.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. It's
great stuff.
It's incredible. You know, Elvis was so big on gospel music, and he was good at it too.
Yeah. And Jerry Lee was really into it.
I saw the Rolling Stones back in '75. I think it was the Goat's Head Soup Tour or something like that. But the opening band was the Mighty Clouds of Joy. And I swear to God, they blew away the Stones. They were that good. The Mighty Clouds of Joy gospel band. Yeah.
Huh.
They were excellent, man.
Very cool.
I want to talk about, this is something very different for you guys. And I love it, by the way. Reach for the Sky. And it's incredible. You know, of course, country, very uplifting tunes. The lyrics are outstanding. What else am I saying about this? Of course, I guess the band name is called Born to Fly. How'd you guys get involved with this project?
Mike?
Well, it's kind of a long story. The long story you'll have to read in our book, because it's one of those amazing set of weird coincidences that is almost hard to believe is possible. But I'll give you the short version. Basically, I was on Facebook and posting a picture of my son's 21st birthday, first legal beer together with Dad.
Awesome.
And I get a message from this person saying, hey, my son's birthday the same day. We started talking about weird coincidences. And I said, well, you know, there's some things that are so unusual that they'll probably never happen again, like the fact that Roger and I were with two sisters in a band. So we had two brothers and two sisters in a band. And, you know, that was hard. And she said, well, no, my sister and I were in a band with two brothers and we did heart music.
Wow.
That was
That's
our
cool.
main thing.
Yeah.
And so one thing led to another, and then she told me that she had a group and they were looking for a sound system. And I have a sound company and we design and build sound systems. And so I said, gee, maybe I can help you out. And I put together a system for them, and it involved a digital console, which they weren't familiar with. So I told them I would teach them how to use it so they could record themselves. Went and set it up at this sports bar where they were playing. And they started playing, and I just was floored by the vocal blend.
Yeah.
They were doing all cover songs, but I just thought, man, you guys really have something. You should write your own music. So they started writing some songs, and they were fantastic. I just thought, man, this is so great. And Raj and I had been talking about producing other bands.
Right.
So encourage them to write more and kind of help them. And one thing led to another. And before you know it, we were in Nashville and recording this album. And had some great people there contribute. And it's just it took a long time because they live, down in the Portland area,
Right.
3 hours away. So, and then everybody works. So it's coordinating our schedules and everything was difficult, but we finally got it done. And I'm glad you like it. I love it myself.
Now, did you engineer the album as well?
Roger and I engineered and produced it.
Because you did a great job. The sound is wonderful, by the way. I noticed that right away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is this an ongoing thing? Are you going to do more albums with these guys, or?
Yeah, we're talking about doing another one.
Okay.
Possibly in 3 or 4 months.
And Raj played a little bit on this album.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah. See, at first I wasn't sure if Roger joined the band, you were producing the album, and it was a new band. But now I understand you guys are producing the album, and this is something new for you guys to do, which is incredible because these guys are great.
We did join the band, and we play live. And it's God, it's a really good band.
It's a very good band. Yeah. And I want to mention Carol Ann Wood, right? She's the vocalist, and Brian Thompson. Those guys are, like you said, they mesh well together, and their vocals are awesome.
Yeah, she was in a family band that toured and traveled around the country and started performing when she was 4 years old.
Really?
And
is that right?
Yeah, their family actually played the Grand Ole Opry, and they were on they won some TV show in Nashville. She's got a really incredible background. She played at Carnegie Hall one time. Yeah.
These guys should make the country charts. I mean, they should be, I don't see why not. I mean, Reach for the Sky sounds like a top 40 hit. I was a top 40 DJ back in the late 70s, so I know what makes a top 40 hit. And that's a great song. She's So Hot. Now, who's singing on that one?
It's Brian.
That's Brian, the guitarist.
Okay.
Those two have been singing and songwriting together since they were in junior high or high school or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
She's So Hot, Can't Wait to Get Burned. I mean, come on. That's a hit, man. Definitely. My Daddy's Gibson. My Daddy's Gibson was recorded live? I mean, you can tell
that's at that sports bar place. Where I first heard them, and they were actually playing during a Seahawks game. And the amazing thing to me was that, the people were responding to the band more than the football game, which how is that possible?
Exactly.
That's what was going on. It was
especially in
amazing.
Seattle. Jeez.
Yeah.
The Air That I Breathe, they did a cover tune written by Albert Hammond. Mike Hazelwood, the Hollies tune. Great song. I believe reminded me of a Darius Rucker tune in a way. Kind of had that feeling to it. We all know how big Darius Rucker got.
Yeah.
Milwaukee's Best, very country, great voice. Everything else, beautiful tune, very powerful. It's country and a little bit of R&B mixed together.
Yeah.
You know,
That's cool.
that's what's so different about this album. It's not 100% country. You got little bits and pieces of, little, other flavors in there too, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
Who Needs a Woman? Very, faster country tune, also good for radio. Another one that should be a hit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Really funny song. I mean, it's got a clever turnaround to it.
It is very clever. And Don't Say Goodbye, very, very pretty song. Beautiful song. This is going to go good with my next interview because I've got Greg Martin of the Kentucky Headhunters.
Oh, cool.
But I gave this album five stars. And now, when is it going to be officially released?
Geez. It's very soon. I mean, we just have to get some contract signed with songwriters, about song splits and things like that, and so it'll be out there.
I think you guys got something here. I mean, producing other bands. Raj plays, his guitar on a lot of new bands, new up and coming bands. I think that's great. That's wonderful.
So, what do you have to say, Ray, about releasing a CD? I mean, you might as well spit in the wind or something.
I know.
Oh, we released it. We would have to have a record company or people working for us or some means of getting the word out for it to have any legs at all.
Right.
Yeah. So the fortunate thing is when we go play live, then lots of people buy CDs.
Right.
But it's like I keep thinking of when jazz ruled, when jazz ruled music, and then in the early 50s, this new thing came in called rock and roll, and those jazz guys saw their popularity to go down, and this new thing took over. What that must have felt like for those guys, and now I know what it feels like. Yeah,
same thing happened to rock and roll, unfortunately, and pisses me off.
Well, the thing is you look at all the context in which we lie, and how everybody knows that the music is in 70s was so profoundly good that there should be a resurgence of it.
Yeah,
and
you would think so.
And so many people do still love rock and roll. I mean, it's still popular in many ways, but I believe that there could be some resurgence of it.
Well, my statement is that there aren't people in the music industry anymore to realize what great music is, and they don't want to share great music universally, especially terrestrial radio. I went through broadcasting school. I was a DJ for all the right reasons. Late 70s, good time. It was a great mix of music. New wave came in. Disco was still around. They still had rock. I played Led Zeppelin on the radio. There was Heart. But radio has become very redundant. They play the same crap over and over again. They think that's safe. They don't dig deep, into their catalog to find good music. I mean, you can find some good stations on satellite, I guess, but it's not enough. It's got to be on the mainstream to make a difference, So I blame radio.
Mainstream anymore? It's like there's so many streams. There almost isn't a mainstream.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of classic rock streams that do real well because I see our royalty statements going, just fine. And
yeah, well, it's a good thing you guys had hits.
People that love that stuff.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's good. But there's a lot of guys, like the Frank Zappas in the world that, their music really didn't get out there to mainstream too much, that kind of thing. So, but you guys were okay on top 40 radio. So you made it. A lot of people couldn't do it, couldn't achieve that.
Very grateful.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let me tell you, I'm gonna read this. This is from Roger. This hits it right on the head. Rock has injuries. Its ego was badly bruised by the youngins picking up the EDM, rap and video game torches, but rock is a temporarily semi-dormant, settling dragon waiting for the perfect moment to emerge from its secret hiding place, anxious to devour all doubters. Rock is not dead. That's from Roger Fisher.
I said that.
You said that.
That sounded like an intelligent person.
That's awesome. That was good, man.
Jeez.
There should be a statue of you with those words. I don't know where I got it, but I got it.
That's dead.
I'll find it. I'll email it to you where I found it. You know what I noticed? Roger cannot stand still. He's very antsy. Where are you now? Looks like he's outside.
He's out of range.
He's out of range. He froze. Roger froze.
You would say he's high energy.
That's a worthy thing.
Yeah, he's always moving.
He's always, yeah. My wife's like that. Well, I want to talk about Heart of Blues a little bit, but Roger's frozen.
Okay, now.
Yeah, you might have to go back inside. Oh well, I'm gonna get started. Hopefully we'll catch up with Raj. Oh, what's he doing?
"2015. Oh, huh.
Is he coming back on? Okay. All right.
I can fill in a lot of Heart of the Blues stuff if you need some.
Okay.
info.
Heart of the Blues. I really enjoy this album. Kind of eclectic. It started out with a bang. With Pain and Glory. A little bit of slide guitar, very hip tune. I'm sorry, Pain and Glory was the third track. Geronimo.
Yeah.
Started out with Geronimo.
Yeah.
Very cool intro. Loved it. I'd love to hear some more of that.
Yeah.
Songs like that. Stan was another great tune. Talk about Stan. Can you talk about Stan?
Sure.
Okay.
That was kind of motivated by the controversy around, people choosing to take a knee, and
Right.
People wanting to force people to stand up, not take a knee.
Right.
And it's just seemed like that's sort of like hypocritical to try to force people to do something when you're trying to support the idea of free expression.
Mhm.
And so you should take a stand about a person's right to be able to take a knee. Take a stand for it. That's what that song is about.
Now, were you involved in the songwriting on some of these songs?
Yeah, on that one.
On that one, okay, yeah, excellent tune. One thing about the take the knee thing, though, it was accepted in sports. A lot of most of the owners, I think, kind of understood what they were doing, and they kind of let them do it. I mean, it could have been worse. They could have fired the guys and got really, I don't know, like Hitlerish about the whole incident, but they did to some degree. I think they kind of let them do their thing. I guess it could have been a lot worse. So, because the NFL's got a reputation, but I was surprised that they let them go that far. to be honest with you. They let them do that. So, oh well, that's just my
It's either a
2 cents.
free country or it's not. It's
Yeah,
if people don't stand up for their rights, then what? Where are we? We're somewhere
right.
else.
Unfortunately, in like corporate America and business, there he is. He's back.
Yeah.
Corporate
Sorry,
America is very, very tough on their people. I worked in the banking industry for like 15 years, and you won't believe what goes on there. They promise you the world, and you're their puppet, basically.
Oh,
So
totally.
I know exactly where their NFL is coming from.
Well,
Anyway, that's a great
you know,
tune.
being a child of the 50s and 60s, thinking back to the way things used to be,
Yep.
things were so controlled and so
Yeah,
regimented, and
right.
it was amazing. Like,
Yeah, the 50s, definitely. Everybody kind of looked the same. Everybody had the same hair length, the buzz cut.
yeah. Yeah,
Thank God for hippies.
you couldn't even have your shirt out, or
Yep.
things were just so regimented and strict. You had to look a certain way, you had to talk a certain way. Black people had to sit at the back of the bus.
That was horrible. That was horrible.
Yeah,
I can't believe we went through that.
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing what you grow up in thinking that's normal.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, we had the Civil War, man. I mean, East against. I mean, you and Raj could have been fighting each other if you were in other states.
Yeah. It's almost like that again in some ways.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. It might even end up that way. Who knows?
Well,
oh my God.
Some foreign governments have invested quite a bit of energy to make sure it does happen that way.
You're right. Yeah, it's very sad. I say to hell with politics. We're all Americans.
We're all members of the human tribe.
The human tribe. Exactly right. We're one nation under God. We need to help each other and believe in each other, and usually we do when there's a crisis. We all come together, which is cool.
That's why we need crises. And I'm serious. Back in 1995, I was looking at the trends that I saw in the world, and I thought,
yep,
we're doomed. We're doomed. We're not going to make it unless something happens to bring us together. And I thought, well, geez, the only thing that could bring us together would be facing death.
Yeah.
And so what could threaten the whole world? Well, then the whole climate change thing came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh, this is it. But then I thought, that probably isn't enough. And I thought, well, there's probably going to be pandemics and wars, and here we are.
Yeah. See that? Well, I don't know. It's Ronald Reagan says if we were invaded by aliens, that might do the trick. But if they're more smarter than we are, then we're all doomed no matter what we do,
Yeah. Well, it could be said that the aliens are all around us, but they can't communicate because they're from the future and they can't mess with things. But telepathically, we can communicate with them and they with us. And through that telepathic communication line, we can do things that will help create the better future that we need. Right. And that is how our project was born.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ray wanted to talk to you about Part of the Blues, Raj.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Ray called. Now, Ray, do people actually believe that you're not an alien?
Hey, if I'm one, you are one too.
I know. I'm not in denial.
Sometimes I think my wife is. I mean, she moves around in mysterious ways and she knows everything.
Or like that. They'll talk about something getting done and all of a sudden you'll come into this other room and whoa, how did that happen so quickly? Or how did you know this.
Yeah.
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 Women. I played a little bookshop gig last night and we were talking about the differences between men and women and how absolutely necessary we are to each other.
Mm-hmm.
We need each other.
Oh, definitely. You know, we complement each other. You know, we might be different, but that's okay. You know, that's fine. Well, I want to mention again how much, how many, how long. It's on YouTube. Fantastic song. It fits the situation about just about any crisis, but especially for the Ukrainian events right now. And yeah, I wish, you know, you could make some money on that tune and maybe donate some to the effort or something like that, you know?
Yeah, money.
Yeah, exactly.
Gladly donate some money. We're in communication with a group from Ukraine. This group is incredible. I don't really know the name of them. It's a couple of the members' names, I think, is the name of the group. Can you look at that, Mike? I guess I could look at that, couldn't I? But man, they do a cover of Barracuda. That's the best cover I've seen anywhere. We got to find this now.
Well, the thing about that performance is the spirit of the vocalist. Well, everybody really, but it really comes through the vocalist. The spirit of angst and anger and power that she delivers is incredible.
Yeah,
and
very powerful.
I watched that song the other day because a friend of ours, a Russian guy who knows those people, told us they're in Kiev and that they're there right now.
Mhm.
And I had to go listen to that song again. I thought, geez, Putin's messing with these people, man.
Exactly. They are tough
fighting off
cookies,
more
man.
Rolled R.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
So anyway, yeah. So this, if people could go to Heart Barracuda,
Mhm.
parentheses, cover by Sershin and Zaritskaya.
Very good.
It's great. It's really good. And
It's-
Ray will put up the link there.
I am. I'm going to put up the video as well.
Yeah,
So
great.
we'll
Yeah.
promote the hell out of them. I'm going to try to get him on the show if I can reach him.
That would be great.
That'd be
Yeah.
great.
I'll bring you guys
They
on
could
too if we
use-
can.
They can
Yeah.
use the support right now.
That'd be cool to have all of us together. You know?
Well, let's see if I can get
that'd
you
be
the
great to be on
contact.
with them.
Yeah. Maybe they can come to the US, you know, I mean, who
God,
knows?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Back to the blues album real quick. Girl Named Bob.
It's,
Whose idea
Such
was that?
well, it was its own idea. It just
Okay.
had to happen because so I was living in the Czech Republic. One morning, my wife told me, Raj, I think we should get a divorce. I said, yeah, I think that's a good idea. So pretty much immediately, I'm roaming around on the internet looking for my next victim, I mean girlfriend. And I meet this actress from Baltimore.
Really?
And oh my God, we would just talk for hours every night. We're just talking for hours. And then within a couple of days, I get an email from a guy in Mississippi. This guy owns Delta Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I'm a big Raj fan. You know, what are you up to these days? Blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, you should come to Mississippi and speak at Delta State University. I said, well, I'd love to. Yeah. And we'll pay you for it. Oh my God, deal. So he said, you know, he'll fly me there from anywhere in the United States. So I said, okay. And I lined up a flight to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
And met my actress friend and took my friend Scott up on his offer.
Yeah.
But instead of flying down there, I wanted to take the train. And so the train does not go from Baltimore straight down to Mississippi. You have to go over to Chicago first and then south. So this actress and I had just a really wonderful meeting opportunity on this train for many, many hours. And it was a great way to get to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, anyway, we get down there and I've lost track. What were we talking about?
You're on the train, you're going to Mississippi.
I've got
Girl
that
named
part.
Bob.
Girl named Bob. Yeah.
Yeah,
Taking
Right,
a
yeah.
fun train ride there.
Yeah. So we're down in Mississippi, just, doing all these different things. And I'm noticing all these colloquialisms from these people, and Southern hospitality is real. Those people genuinely care and genuinely are so generous and so friendly, but they say a lot of interesting things. So me and Jennifer, the actress lady, were writing these things down, and pretty soon I'm seeing, well, geez, I could write a story about this. And so I wrote this little story, and that was that. And it just sat there for years. And then a few years ago, I was horsing around with a Stevie Ray Vaughan lick, and it caused me to make a mistake that was really cool. And I thought, wow, that's a cool lick.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I immediately thought of A Girl Named Bob. That would work for that song. So then wrote it, and it was a good song, obviously a really, really fun song. Well, Mike and I had the really good fortune of being able to hang out with Johnny Cash's drummer of 40
Mm-hmm.
years,
Wow.
W.S. Holland.
Yep.
We're down there in his back recreation room with he and his wife and his guitarist, just chatting away, really
Mhm.
having fun.
Yeah.
And I said, his nickname was Fluke. I said, Fluke, you guys had that song, A Boy Named Sue.
Mhm.
We've got a song called A Girl Named Bob. Oh, yeah? Let me hear it. So I sang a bit of it. He said, you know what? I think that's a hit song.
Yep.
And I said, well, you should play on it. He said, I'd love to play on it. So a few months later, Mike and I go down to, was it Jackson? Bolivar. Go down to Bolivar. And
Tennessee.
we put together a makeshift studio and record W.S. Holland on that song. And my God, it was such wonderful chemistry. But that's the story. Yeah, so that song has Johnny Cash's drummer on it. And what a sweetheart what he was. Just died recently.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of incredible coincidences, our bass player
Right.
that night gets a call from his, what is it, niece?
I think so.
And her name is Bob, and it's her birthday.
Wow. That's
Girl
weird.
named Bob. This can't make it really happen that way.
That's,
Ray,
crazy.
Mike and I are creating a book.
Mhm.
It's called Bros.
Okay.
It's going to be a multimedia book, so
Right.
you can buy the paper version
Mhm.
or get it on Kindle or your laptop, your phone, whatever.
Right.
The digital version will have a lot of video content, like what you read in the book. In the digital version, you'll see us in video interviews.
Oh, wow. Cool.
With those same words.
Very good.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. But I think the most delicious aspect of the
Mhm.
book is all these amazing synchronicities
Mhm.
that have happened through our lives.
Yeah.
And when I think that anybody, when they really look at their life as an overview and think back to, well, geez, when I was 8 years old, this happened that I didn't like at all.
Mhm.
But when I was 15, if that hadn't happened, this thing wouldn't have happened that caused me
Right.
to get this job.
Yeah.
Or this wife, or and you put together all these you draw lines of continuity to all these different events through your life, and it's incredible. It's an incredible magical thing that is occurring here to all of us.
Mhm.
But our book has so many of these things. They're so unbelievable. I told a story last night at my gig. I'd like to tell you the story now.
Sure.
It's kind of long.
Well, if we time out again, we'll restart.
Okay, I'll tell the story.
Okay.
So this was about 1955. It was a different world back then.
Yeah.
And I remember it was a warm summer night. And I remember so distinctly, all the adults in the neighborhood were outside, like at the ends of their driveway,
Right.
looking up. They were standing looking up. And all us kids were playing Army. And there's this big grass field that we were, sneaking around in and stuff.
Mhm.
Well, I
Right.
remember waking up in that grass field by myself, far enough down in the grass that nobody could see me,
Mhm.
waking up and looking up in the sky. And right there, probably about 150 feet up, was a little single occupant flying saucer, just hovering there. And I can see it so clearly in my mind. And there was a humanoid figure in there looking at me, and I sensed great love and compassion from him.
Hmm.
And that was it. Then it was gone. It was something that you can't forget. It's indelibly etched. And I don't know if it was a dream or not, but to the best of my ability and knowledge, it was not a dream. It really happened. So all these years go by. When I came back from the Czech Republic after my wife said that we should get a divorce, and I agreed, I'd been back a short amount of time, and I got a phone call from arguably the nicest nightclub in Seattle. The guy said, "Hey, we had a cancellation on Saturday night. You want to play the gig?" "Sure, I'd love to. It's in 2 weeks." "Okay. Do you have a band?" "Yeah." Well, I didn't really have a band, so I threw a bunch of musicians together to do the gig.
Mhm.
And right around that same time, a very dear friend of the Seattle music community, Joe Shikani, a great musician and a great dear friend of mine, had gotten killed by a falling tree in a freak accident. And so I told the other musicians, bring a suit coat for the last song, and we're going to do a tribute to Joe.
Right.
So this whole set goes by, and it's time to do that. And one of the musicians is out there killing time on the stage while everybody's putting on their suit coats. Well, I'm frantically looking for my shirt, and then a mutual friend said, "Raj, I'd like to introduce you to somebody. This is Linda Manning." And I go, "Oh my God." Linda was Joe's girlfriend of 4 years. I felt
Right.
so bad for her. So I go up to her and we hug for a long time, just trembling,
Mhm.
and then we look deeply into each other's eyes, and then somebody finds my shirt and I go play. Well, about a month and a half later, I find her email address and I tell her, can we get together for dinner? I haven't been able to forget that hug. So we got together for dinner, and now we've been together ever since. This is 13 years later. 4 years ago, she decides to get a puppy. And yay, great. I love dogs. I'm part dog. And so we go over to Spokane, Washington, near the airport over there.
Right.
And the breeder is right up there by the airport. And we're going to go pick up our dog. On the way there, we're going to stop at a cemetery. Coincidentally, Joe Shikani's grave is near the breeder, near that airport. On the way to the cemetery, a song comes on the radio that you don't hear on the radio all that often.
Right.
"Got my mojo rising."
Right. Right.
That comes on the radio.
Mhm.
Well, we go, "Oh, wow, what a sign that is." Our dog's name is Mojo. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So we get to the cemetery, we're looking around, finally find the gravesite, and we're talking about Joe. The two other people we were very good friends of his as well. And Linda has kept just a very few possessions that were his.
Mhm.
And she's going to take one of them out now and leave it at the gravesite. So she takes it out, and it is the flying saucer.
Really?
Really.
Wow.
Yeah. Just a total mind blower.
What is it? I mean, how big was it? How big is
Oh,
it?
just this little, toy flying saucer, but it looked like
It looked
flying
exactly
saucer.
like it. Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just God, it just sent chills down my spine. I thought,
That's crazy.
what the heck?
Jeez. Oh my
what
God.
what a life. But there's all kinds of stories like that. I mean,
Yeah.
if we get Mike going, we'll be here at 6:00 tonight.
It just shows you, man, we're all connected in some way. We really are.
Oh, we really are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they don't know what dark matter is.
Right.
I know what dark matter is. Dark matter, but in my perception, is consciousness.
Yeah.
Where in the universal construct does science, where is consciousness? There is no place for it that is defined in science that I know of. So it's dark matter. It's what permeates everything and surrounds and envelops everything. Nothing would be there if there was no consciousness to experience it.
Right.
So there you go.
Yeah. That's incredible, man.
If you have any other questions regarding the great mysteries of the universe, just ask me.
You're the man.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, musicians are very deep, and they know things.
Well,
they really do.
In 1967, Brother Mike was really into Zen Buddhism, and Mike, like many things, he introduced that to me, and I thought, what? The sound of one hand clapping? What the hell is that? So we started meditating every morning before school.
Yeah.
And that kind of caused something that changed my life, that affected my life greatly. And that was understanding that the ability to meditate, to focus, was one of the greatest strengths you'll ever have, and one of the best practices, best things you can ever do. And so that was really helpful.
Yeah.
Really helpful.
I interviewed Jim McCarty, from the Yardbirds, drummer from the Yardbirds. He's got a book out that I don't have it here, but he talks about channeling with his wife that is deceased. And he talks a lot about that in the book. And he says he actually does, speak to her, which is really cool. I'll email you the book. It's a great book. My wife loved it. Yeah, but I mean, musicians are very, very in touch. I believe in reincarnation. I do. I really do. I think it's very, very possible that we're kind of recycled in a way, Do you believe in reincarnation?
Well, I think that some of us should be recycled sooner than others. Like this monster.
Yeah, it should be deleted forever. Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, the blues album was incredible. I loved it. I got just a couple of. Go ahead.
What about the song "The Great Flood"?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Talk about that real quick.
Well, geez, the greatest disaster in American history, nobody seems to know about. But Zeppelin made a great nod to it with When the Levee Breaks. That was about the flood of 1927, where 1 million people were displaced, 100,000 people died, and it was incredible. Well, the thing is, in the Mississippi Delta, there's going to be a flood like that again, probably worse because of our climate. But now there's a way greater population there. So I thought, man, there needs to be more awareness to prepare for this flood that's going to happen.
Mhm.
So that made me write this song. But God, I think it's such a great song. When you can take the listening audience to another place effectively, that is good music. And that's what Mistral Wind by Heart does. It takes the audience to an ineffable place.
Mhm.
Yeah, cool stuff. Which brings up the topic from last October when I was invited by Ann Wilson to
Yes.
sit in with the band
Yeah.
at the Neptune Theater in Seattle. Ann's manager and my manager, Bro Mike, had been talking, and they suggested to Ann that this happen, and she did it. She invited me to play, and so that was such an amazing gesture after all these years, because the phrase "bad blood" is not correct, but you
Mhm.
could say that there was bad blood between us. There were there were a lot of things that we could talk about, but never did, because there was no reason for it, and there was kind of animosity, hostility lingering in the air. So for her to do that was a big act. Thank
Mhm.
you. And so we got together at rehearsal
Yeah.
and we rehearsed the song, and her band are so good. These guys are just great, and they're great guys. It was just such a joy to play with them. But after we rehearsed the song, we went into the lobby of this recording studio where we were rehearsing, and the topic came up about Ann's drinking, and she told me that her bane was expensive red wine, and that's why she had a drinking problem, because she loved it so much. I can totally relate. But she had quit that. But we have our own whiskey. It's called Heart of the Blues whiskey, and I had a bottle there that night, and she said that we could have a toast of the whiskey. So we did, and we kind of made a pact that, by golly, we're going to get along. And she asked me to play on her next album, so that was great. But when we did the show, that old magic was there on stage. You can go to Ann Wilson's YouTube channel and see a video of that show, and I'll also see that on our channel.
Yep.
But it's really evident that she and I, in particular, having had the history that we had with that song, brought it. And it was a really powerful moment.
Well, her backing band, I think it's called The Amazing Dogs.
Yeah.
And you guys did Mistral Winds, which is one of my favorite tunes, at the Neptune Theater. I'm going to post that. I'm going to post that video. There's no reason why you guys shouldn't have a reunion.
There's lots of reasons, Ray.
Come on, you and Grand Funk Railroad. There's no reason, man. I talk to Mark Farner about that all the time too, and he's game.
Yeah, well, I'm game, but the other people.
Who's the stubborn one in the band? Who's the one that doesn't want to do it? I mean, you're reaching Ann. I'm
not going to talk about that.
Got to be Nancy
specifically, but Nancy, yeah. I mean, even Nancy and Ann aren't playing together right now. But
yeah.
The people around these people, like the people in Nancy's camp,
right?
She gets information from lots of places and is influenced by these other people. I simply wanted to go to see Nancy a couple months ago after Ann and I had played together.
Right.
I just wanted to, I had tickets to the show for a long time.
Sure.
I just wanted to go to the meet and greet. Oh no, Roger Fisher. And so I was denied access for some reason.
Oh, God.
So then I went to a different route and was given permission by a different entity involved in security. Okay, good. I'm back in. So then I get up to the gate where you go in, and just a minute. They say just a minute. Somebody scurries off, and then you come back in a minute. I'm sorry, it's been filled up. We can't allow any more people. They wouldn't let me do a meet and greet with Nancy.
That's insane.
I know. I mean,
that's insane.
She's being protected from Roger Fisher.
Oh my
this
God.
maniac who probably is armed and wants to take her life. Obviously, I mean, he's crazy, right?
That's horrible. That's horrible,
Yeah,
man.
it's
there's no excuse for that. There really isn't, you know.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I talked to Steve Fossen and Michael DeRosier because, you know, they have the Heart by Heart deal going on, which is great, you know, and they got their own Anna and Nancy singing in the band. So those guys, I'm sure they're on board. And I haven't talked to Howard Leese. Is he, you guys on good terms with Howard? Or?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just Nancy.
All three of those guys, I've heard say, would never do it.
Oh, really? They said they would never do it?
Yeah.
Huh.
They're just not interested at all. And I can support that sentiment. I don't need to do it. I'm really happy doing what I'm doing. And the thing that bothers me is that if we did it, imagine how much money we could raise for charities.
God. Are you kidding me?
That alone makes me wish that we could be good models to society, as we should be. Is our duty as professional entertainers to set a good example, and that would be setting a great example, showing that we have the balls and the maturity, the professionalism to get together to provide our service
exactly
to our audience. That's what should happen.
Mark Farner said the same thing. He said it's criminal that we don't get back together again. You know, he said the same thing, and he says he's up for it. You know, but you know who's stubborn in that band, right?
No, I don't.
Mr. Brewer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
you know, I just want to make some quick points about my observation about Heart. First of all, I don't know how Heart continued without you guys in the band, and why they got the name. You know, that I don't know how that happened. Is that Michael's fault? He was managing the band.
Well,
Michael, what happened?
I can tell the story pretty well.
Go ahead, Raj.
Well, they were sitting with our accountant, the guy that I guess was our attorney, talking about the Heart partnership agreement that we're going to create. And Mike and I agreed that it would be good to give Ann and Nance 51% ownership. At that time, we were their significant others.
Yeah.
Well, that was a mistake.
Yeah, it was. You're trying to be nice. I know.
Well, trying to be fair.
Yeah.
And,
big mistake.
Yeah.
Big mistake. Yeah.
But
it's quite like that. But it was sort of along those lines. You know, it was, see, originally it was Ann and Nancy with the majority ownership.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was 51%. And then the rest of it was split evenly between all the guys, including myself.
Right.
And the rancor and heated discussions about who should get what between the different members was just so disgusting to me that I said, okay, look, I'll give most of my share to you guys so you have more, and then you can all feel good. And they said, okay. So basically I gave away you know, what a lot of what my percentage would have been, so that
Right.
we could end this hostility among the different guys.
Yeah. You just didn't want to fight.
And then, you know, but then through the course of attrition, and then Nancy got rid of all the other guys and ended up with
Yeah.
the rest.
You know, it gets me mad in a way, because you guys started the band. It was your band, you know, and the girls, you know, I'll probably never get an interview now with Ann or Nancy for saying all of this, but without you guys, the band would have been nothing. I mean, Roger's guitar sound was very unique and created the sound, the music of Heart. It was him that I was attracted to, not the girls. It really wasn't. You guys were incredible musicians, you know, and the way they come across and put Ann and Nancy on a pedestal without mentioning the band upsets me. It really does.
Well, you know, they right from the start, when we were still playing clubs and everything, I was courting the guy who was going to become our producer.
Right.
And he wasn't interested in the band at all. He didn't want any of the band. He only wanted to work with Ann. And, you know, but the thing is that we wanted a band. So that wasn't even something we would consider.
We're gonna run out of time again, but if it does, let's just get back on again. Okay. I'm gonna edit the whole thing, and that'll probably be our last segment. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
You want me to continue?
Yeah, go ahead and continue until we run out.
Yeah, so
sorry about that.
The band, meanwhile, was becoming more and more popular. I mean, like really popular. And we were writing songs, we were making demos, and it became obvious that the band was able to, you know, sell tickets. We were outselling national acts, you know, as a cover band. And so finally the producer guy came around and said, okay, I will agree to work with Roger and Nancy and Ann, and then we'll use studio musicians for the rest of the guys.
Right.
And I said, well, you know, we got to have our bass player too. You know, maybe we can find another keyboard player and another drummer, but we got to have Steve. And he said, well, okay, we'll try it and see how it goes. So we started recording, and we used studio drummer, and Howard was a studio musician at the studio, and he had worked with us on some of the demos we did. And Howard just fit right in right away. He was just great. And because he not only could play keyboards, but he could sing, and he could play great guitar.
Right.
And then we went through a whole bunch of drummers, but finally got Michael DeRozier. And that's kind of how it came together.
Yeah. They always mention, you know, Nancy as, you know, one of the best guitar players as far as a woman and this and that. And they do the same thing with Joan Jett. And I very much disagree. I mean, she's a good guitar player, but when you compare her to Roger, or say people like Sophie Lloyd, Lita Ford, you know, Nita Strauss, Bonnie Raitt, come on. She gets a lot of recognition for that, you know, and so does Joan Jett, you know. And I play some guitar, so I know who's a good guitar player. And, you know, Roger's incredible. He really is. So I just want to give you guys the recognition you deserve. That's all.
Well, yeah, but you can't really compare Nancy and I, because they are two very different styles. I can't play the stuff that Nancy plays. So does that make me a worse guitar player? No, I'm just a different guitar player.
Right.
And you know, if you did compare, well, I mean, you can't compare Nancy to Bonnie Raitt. Bonnie Raitt is just so she captures the voodoo that's in blues, and oh God, she is so good. But Nancy's really, really good on a very similar high level, but just in a different way. Yeah, she really is a great guitar player.
Yeah, it's just that they put her up here all the time, you know, and I just don't hear enough of Roger Fisher. That's all.
But that's by design, though. See, the universe is keeping the whole Roger Fisher thing under wraps, and this is why. This is why.
I just appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys. That's all.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yep.
I was starting a little story here.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the reason that Roger Fisher is one of the best kept secrets in rock and roll is because if I had been successful earlier, I might have self-destructed or something, you know, or become that power. What power can poison people's minds and cause them to be weird, like Putin or Hitler, or, you know, some musicians and actors and actresses, the fame thing just does them in. So I'm really grateful that I'm not that famous, because what's about to happen in rock and roll is this huge phenomenon, this huge comeback. Our music is going to be discovered. For instance, we have the greatest instrumental rock album of all time, and nobody's heard it. So that's about to come out, and I could go on like this for way too long. But if you don't believe in yourself, what can you believe in?
That's
so
right.
I believe this fantasy of a huge comeback for us. Good. That stands for classic rock.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I've interviewed probably 2,000 guys. I mean, legends. You know, wrote a couple of books. I'm going to do 3, 4, and 5 series. And, you know, besides the music artists, nobody else has heard of me. You know, I'm in Bradenton, Florida's backyard with all these famous people that I interview, not only rock stars, but celebrities. I just did Rick Barry the other day, NBA star, you know, nobody knows me. So, you know, I'm kind of like you know, that's the way the universe works, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of strange.
You know, Ray, talking about Raj being underrated, you know, to me, it seems like every member of that band is vastly underrated.
I agree.
They're
100%.
all
That's my point.
fantastic.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point.
And can play anything. She can play any instrument. She's just so musical. And God, DeRocher is just a fabulous, fabulous drummer. It's just,
he really is.
I agree, man. I just get upset when, you know, you just hear about the girls all the time and not you guys. And you guys started the band, and, you know.
But let's put ourselves in the girls' place.
Right.
They're these sisters that have been raised by a Marine Corps officer and his wife, and they both, our kids, come on, Ann and Nance, come into the living room here and play for our guests. You know, they got started really early and got the taste of, we're talented. People like us. And, you know, that gets into your system and you become an entertainer at an early age and you've got something. So they meet up with the Fisher brothers and this band happens. But in the back of their minds, it's them. It's the Ann and Nance duet that is going to get big. And so it was always that way. We thought we had a band, but in the back of their minds, it was always going to be them.
Yeah.
And if you put yourself in their place, I don't need a bunch of other people, just me and my sister. Let's just do that. That is one thing we can always count on. These, you know, life has its funny little things that come up because of the fact that we're humans and we make mistakes and we're wacky and and we don't need that.
Mhm.
We don't need to horse around with people being unfaithful to us or uh, being out of tune too often. You know, that there's so many justifications for wanting to get away from these people. So let's get away from all of those guys, and then we'll be in control of our whole thing.
Yeah.
So I can relate to that. You know,
Yeah.
I can understand why they would want to do that, why it would seem right. And let's just erase the history with all those people, so we don't even have to talk about them or deal with them.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
our show.
Yeah.
And in our book,
Exactly.
we can go on. But you know, when you understand a person's motivations, it helps you heal the feelings that you have for them.
Right.
And I don't want to
Right.
carry around this baggage of disliking anybody in the band for any reason. And I
Yeah.
don't. I
Yeah.
understand why everybody is the way they are, accept it. And I'm grateful to be where I am right now, this relatively unknown guy with a beautiful setting of his life,
Beautiful. Gorgeous.
with
Yeah.
a beautiful fiance, a
Mhm.
wonderful dog, and the best brother in the world.
Yeah, I like your dog, by the way. He's cute. I saw him. Do you have grandkids?
Just 3.
Only 3? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I got 5.
Oh, good.
Okay, we're back. Okay, did you have anything to finish on that, Raj, on that message that you were talking about, or
What were we saying?
you're happy where you are right now?
Yeah, you know, I just want to hold fond feelings toward all the other band members, and
Yep.
I do, because I understand their personality traits.
Right.
And you know, it's all good. Geez, we had a great run.
Yep.
I think it would be responsible of us to have a reunion for the right reasons, but to me, it doesn't really matter because I'm so happy.
Mhm.
Mike and I work together a lot. We put in so we live and breathe this craft and the
Right.
project that we have initiated and are working on together. And you know, also another aspect of this is that when a person is so ambitious and so driven to get something done, the work that they're doing can suffer because it loses its joy, because there's so much of a seeming need
Mhm.
to accomplish it, to get it
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
But with Mike and I, we operate in this kind of slow motion mode,
Mhm.
which is really healthy for the art. But as far as the business goes, well, everything takes too long. But who cares? I mean, it's the process, it's the journey, you know, it's the hanging out with my brother and working and
Yeah.
developing myself, constantly trying to be better. And so the process is beautiful. And the fact that we are slow in getting product out to an audience that isn't there doesn't matter.
You know, I think it's wonderful that you guys are very close and you can work together. I've got an older brother. We're 7 years apart. We don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, you know, and he's up in DC area. I'm here in Florida. I talked to, you know, Davies of the Kinks. He had an issue with his brother, his older brother.
Yeah.
So I admire you guys. It's not easy to work together, you know, and that's good stuff. Really is. You know, I do want to compliment Nancy on one song that's probably one of my favorite songs. It's Not a One. You know, she didn't get enough credit for that tune. That's a beautiful song, man.
That's
I love
incredible.
it. Yeah.
Her most recent album has some great songs on it too.
I got to get that.
Yeah, I don't remember the titles, but
Mm-hmm.
boy, they sure spoke to me. And then Mike was in the audience when Ann and I played together in October. And he was very, very moved by some of Ann's originals.
Mm-hmm.
more recent originals.
Yeah. Mike, there's a story there about 901, right? Did you buy a new Cadillac and you were with Ann? And I think something happened with that song that you guys went somewhere, or that's where the song came from. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I doesn't ring a bell right now.
Really? Ann Wilson says, I read this, that you bought a brand new Cadillac and you guys went somewhere together. Ocean Shores.
Could be.
Rustic, you were in a cabin, and that's where the song, she got the song from.
Oh, that would have been Kalelak, I think.
Okay.
Remember that, Raj? Going to Kalelak to those cabins?
That's amazing. Kalelak is one of my favorite places. We go there every year. But man, I want you to tell me about that, because I'm not remembering it.
Well, there were, I think it was maybe, there was another trip where we went to Kelly Curtis's dad's place at Ocean Shores. Boy, I don't remember the story you're talking about though with Not a One.
No, I've never, that doesn't sound, I've never heard anything about a Cadillac or anything.
After the song was written or started anyway, I think your new Cadillac the batteries died and you needed a tow. This was from Ann Wilson. That's what she wrote. And it was recorded on a cassette recorder, a demo, little battery operated cassette recorder. And
I think I probably have that cassette.
Really?
I've got, I think I've seen it recently.
Well, geez, that should be in the book.
Yeah. Was somebody named Sue? She had a Hammond Piper Auto Core keyboard system. It was nicknamed the Fun Machine. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, I remember the Fun Machine.
You do? Yeah. Huh. Very interesting. That's how she got Not a One though from that trip, is what she's saying anyway. Huh. Well, guys, I just want to mention your whiskey. How's your whiskey doing anyway? I got to get a bottle of that. How do I get a bottle of that?
We should send you a sample. We're just about sold out of our initial production run, and we're looking into doing the next production from actually in the Delta.
Good idea.
Yeah.
How was the whiskey made? I mean, the ingredients, and how did it all come together?
Well, Mike and I have our own still up here in Washington, and we were bootlegging for many years, and then we were approached by Rose City Distillery in Portland, saying that, hey, we should have a celebrity whiskey with your name on it.
Right.
And we were both hesitant, but then we went down and tasted like 15 different kinds of things that they had. And when we tasted this one, we said, oh my God, that is good. We could put our name on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it started.
That's pretty cool. And plus you got your tea. How's your tea doing?
My tea is right there.
That's it, huh?
Oh, it's such good stuff. There's 4 different kinds of ginseng in it, herbs to make the blood flow more efficiently in your brain. It does. So there's 31 organic ingredients from around the world. I wanted a tea that I knew would be super good for me, because I love good tea, and went online and ordered a bunch of different things. Nothing fulfilled my desire, so got together with this herbalist, Bradley Dobos, and created something that really works. He is really knowledgeable in herbs and knew proportionally how to combine all these elements so that they would act as adaptogens.
Right.
And so the tea is powerful stuff. Yeah, it's boing, oing, 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 oing. It's got the boing.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I'll take 10 cases.
Yeah. And, you know, when you're feeling when you are feeling sexually able, that's a really good healthful place to be in. And
Yeah, it is.
I like feeling healthful.
Yeah. And as you get older, you feel less and less of that.
Oh my God. Yeah. Jeez.
If you like it or not.
Yeah.
It really sucks, man.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Roger and Mike, here's your final question. I always ask this question. I think I've asked you before, Raj. If you had a Field of Dreams wish, like the movie, to perform with or collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be?
Mike?
If I had, say it again.
Anyone from the past or present. If you had a wish, you know, like the Field of Dreams movie, you know, Moonlight Graham, he had a wish. And if you had a wish to collaborate with, perform with, produce anybody from the past or present, who would that be?
Oh, you should ask Raj that.
Well, both of you, really. You know, you work with you're working with all kinds of bands now and stuff.
God, there's so many.
Yeah.
Well, I have it's kind of an interior, well, it's kind of a bucket list, but
Okay.
it's different than a bucket list. So I want to play with McCartney would be the bass player. We would, you know, there's a few different ways of looking at it. I would like the triumvirate of Beck, Page, and Clapton.
Mhm. That would
Those
be
three
nice.
guys, and
Those
me
three
and
guys.
Paul McCartney.
Right.
And you know, that's a good start. And maybe Anne would be in there too.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? I mean,
Yeah.
what we could put together, what we could write,
Mhm.
would be incredible. So that's something I hold in my mind, that
Mhm.
it's more than a bucket list, it's an intention. But you know, it's so lofty and unrealistic, that doesn't matter. I
Yeah.
still, you know, I still envision that. And, you know, it'll probably never happen, but that's okay.
Well, look at Ringo, what he did. He put together the All-Star Band, you know, so it's I think it's possible. Yeah, he got all his favorite artists, and they tour and every year, and they've been doing this for years and years now. So maybe you can do that, you know, put together an All-Star Band.
The thing is, I like staying home.
And drinking your tea.
Yeah. Going for walks with my dog, and
yeah, a little whiskey at night.
Playing golf, you know,
Playing
at least
golf.
once a week. Yeah.
Sounds like you got a pretty good thing going on there, Raj.
Oh, you know, I'm so grateful that that I had a brother who introduced me to all these different things that changed the course of my life in so many positive ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, one of the major ones being finding the value of meditation. Yeah. Because when a person goes deep and discovers their spirit, their soul, it's a joy that can't be extinguished, and it's well, it's the foundation for the ability to pass from this life into the next place. The beauty about being able to focus 100% is that eventually you'll be able to leave your body. You'll be able to astral project. And as soon as you can do that, you're no longer afraid to die. Yeah. Because the feeling of putting down that heavy thing and rising above it is heavenly. It's total relief. It's like the feeling of you need to urinate. Oh man, I really need to pee, but you can't for some reason. You can't. It's getting worse. worse, worse. This is like old age. You really need to pee, really need to pee. And finally, at the point where you're going to die, it's like, that's when you get to let go. Oh, what a relief. That's what dying is like. That people don't know that, because your body and brain are designed to be really fearful of death, so that way you'll survive and stay alive.
Good point.
But when that fear is removed, then it's easy to, it's a joyous thing to know how to go.
I talked to Mike Love about that, because he's been involved with transcendental meditation for years and years and years, you know, and you guys are, I notice all the people that are meditating on a regular basis, they're very healthy, you know, they look good. I mean, it's very refreshing, isn't it? That's, you know, that's good medicine right there, in my opinion. What are the degrees? Isn't there like fourth dimension, fifth dimension, things that like that you can achieve in meditation, or different levels? No, you just meditate.
I don't, all the, you know, I'm a real simple guy. I don't know all that stuff. I just know my relationship with the creator, and I don't have to delve deep into the manual to, yeah,
it's all organic, natural. You don't need instructions,
as is my guitar playing. And so that's why I have this huge inadequacy thing, because I don't, I'm not a Tommy Emmanuel or a Steve Vai or any of those guys, you know. They're all so far beyond me. But none of those guys write these songs that I write, nor play with the style that I created. So I'm happy. And if people compare themselves to other great people and are disappointed in themselves, well, that's a shame, because each one of us are equally as well, I guess. I mean, when a person has seen their gift and dug deep and won the brass ring personally with pursuing what they knew they had in them, then you know, then they deserve the greatness that they perceive in themselves. And whether anybody else sees it or not doesn't matter, because they know what they did. You
know, musicians are very hard on themselves, you know, which
musicians' brothers are hard on each other.
Okay, I know who I'd like to collaborate with.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so I'd like to collaborate with Tom Jefferson, Ben Franklin, James Madison, Nikola Tesla, Elon Musk, and a few others, to bring them all together and say, look, we've come a long way. You guys had some great ideas in the beginning. You know, basically decentralized government. You know, you decentralized it from one person ruler to this, which was the right direction. And now we have this incredible technology, and it's time for the next step. We need to redesign everything more efficiently and more democratically and more fair. What do you think? And just come up with some new ideas.
Yeah, I agree. I'm ready to vote for Tesla for not Tesla, Elon Musk for president, man.
Yeah.
Let him have control. He's going to have control anyway.
An engineering approach it would be so much more appropriate than the way we do things a lot of times. I mean,
agree.
It's ridiculous. There's an amount of common sense we could bring to the table.
I hate politics. I really do, man. And poor Tesla got screwed, you know.
Geez, Ray, I'm sorry I have to go. I've got this huge show I'm doing this weekend, and everybody's calling me here, and I have to
Guys, I just want to say thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate it. You guys are wonderful. Roger, you know, I'm always on your side. I always bat for you, even though you're not going to bat for yourself. I believe in you. I believe in Heart. I believe in the guys in Heart. You know, the girls are great. I'm not going to take that from them, but I just think the guys deserve a lot more credit. And certainly Michael does for putting the band all together in the first place.
Yeah, well, stay in touch and in tune via rockfisher.com.
Yep.
Got some things coming out that people are going to love. It's I've got a music instruction
series. Told me about that. Yeah.
On guitar. It's different than anything else out there.
Okay.
And yeah, little snippets from our book we'll be putting out, and exciting stuff is going on.
Okay, we'll circle around again. Just email me when you got it all together, and we'll do this again.
Great.
Yeah, glad to hear you like the Reach for the Sky album.
Love
and,
it.
Are you going to play some of it?
Love it. Very uplifting, man. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Great talking with you, Ray. Have
Great
fun.
talking to you guys too. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.